order, the code red!
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Welcome to the Mo Mears Show. I'm Mo.
Mears.
As of Thursday, there might not be any NFL football, and that's what the Mo Mears Show is all about.
Yeah, and it caused me to go to eBay to purchase a black Philadelphia Eagles Donovan McNabb jersey to show my mourning for the rest of the off-season.
Now, this whole lockout thing, we've been talking about it, and there's an awful lot of legal jargon that we didn't understand that's going on with everything surrounding it.
Way too many 50-cent words that are just way over my head. I like touchdown, tackle, fumble, and boobs, but none of those words are coming up in these discussions.
So we had to take our budget and go out and find a legal correspondent that could explain exactly what's happening with this lockout.
And most of our budget went to sending him to D.C. so that he could do some inside talks with the owners and find out what's going on.
Greg Molyneux, 2003, Widener Law School graduate, 5-time bar failure. Greg, welcome to our show.
Well, thanks, Mo Mears. It's great to be on your show. Love your show, Mo especially. I think you're hilarious.
So, Greg, what exactly is a lockout? Can you explain to us the details of what that all entails?
Well, that's a good question, Mo. In this case, a lockout is the owners basically going on strike. The owners have a right under federal law when a collective bargaining agreement expires to basically shut down a business. And in this case, it expires Thursday, and if there's no collective bargaining agreement in place, a new one in place, then the business is basically going to be shut down by the owners. That's why it's a lockout. The players aren't the ones initiating it. It's the owners. In this case, basically, the players are just on their own. They can't talk to their teams. The doctors monitoring injuries, they can do it, but they're not allowed to do it on team facilities. Their medical coverage, they can continue the same coverage that they have, but they have to pay for it. So basically, that's what it's off season, so it's harder to envision what it is in the off season. But there's no mini camps, there's no communication between players and teams. So that's basically what the lockout is. It's basically the owners going on strike in this case.
Well, thanks for explaining that. That clears up what a lockout actually is.
I get it now.
Well, you know what? I have another question, Greg. I keep hearing about the players talking about decertifying their union. I didn't even know that was even a possible solution to this whole matter. Can you explain what decertifying a union does and why the players would take this course of action?
Well, Mears, I think the decertification of the union issue is the exact reason that you needed to call in a legal correspondent. It's a complicated legal issue. Basically, when the players are a union, they are collectively bargaining together. If the players decertify the union, which they have approval to do through a series of meetings that they did last year, they will basically not be in a union anymore, and they can individually sue the owners, and that would, in an effort to take away some of the antitrust protection the league has, they're going to sue the owners saying that they're restricting trades. Basically, as a union, they have so much protection that they need to decertify it, individually sue the league, because right now the union versus the owners is not working. If the players do it, it's a desperate move. It's a lengthy legal process to try and save the 2011 season. Basically, it appears that the owners aren't budging. The players union can't make any movement. So the decertification is a last resort where the players are basically no longer a union, and they can individually attack the owners on a restriction of trade under federal law.
After an answer like that, I want to know what bar this guy failed 5 times. Can we get a recount?
Yeah, I mean, he seems really intelligent.
Greg, when it comes to the expiration of a collective bargaining agreement, a lot of times when you see negotiations, you think there might be an extension of a deadline. Is that possible in this situation?
Yes, Mo, the Thursday night deadline can be extended. Both sides would have to agree. The players have tried to do this. The owners have not agreed. They would have to agree to a length of the extension. It's not a likely scenario that this is going to occur this time. It's more likely that the decertification is going to occur. Once again, it appears that the owners are just not budging on the collective bargaining agreement and the situation, and it looks like that they are intent on having a lockout. For what reason? For what good that it does? We can all question that, but it's 32 guys with a lot of money at stake, so I guess they feel justified, and they're not really working with the players too much, it doesn't appear. But, yes, it can be extended. It is a highly unlikely scenario, however.
Well, Greg, with all this talk of nothing happening, is there actually going to be a draft?
Mears, right now the plan is to go ahead with the draft. Funny situation. You're going to get drafted, and then you can't sign a contract. A drafted player won't be able to sign a contract. They won't be able to communicate with the teams. They'll be allowed to hold a press conference in their facility. The top picks will be able to hold a press conference at the facility, but that'll be the extent of it. Any workout that they have, they'll have to pay for themselves. But yes, for some reason, the plan is to go ahead with the draft, despite the fact nothing else is going on. That's also a confusing portion of this process.
So despite the fact that we're having a draft and you're saying that they can't sign contracts, I'm assuming that there's no free agency or trades during this whole process?
No, Mole, no trades, no free agency, nothing can go on in that respect, no contract negotiations. Once again, if a lockout were to occur, there's absolutely no communication between the owners, the teams, and the players. And the players are basically on their own. We'll see in the next 24 hours what plays out as far as whether the players decertify. As I said before, decertification is a lengthy process. You're getting into antitrust laws, which, you know, I don't have time to sit here and explain it to you. And as we've addressed, I'm a 5-time bar failure, so I'm not going to try and pontificate on what they might be because, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just the Mole and Mears legal correspondent. But things aren't looking good right now. But at the end of the day, hope for hope, you would think that the owners and players would get together and that they would save the season somehow. But it appears at this point that the owners are being very stubborn. So we'll see how it plays out. Thanks for having me on, guys. Once again, you know, honored to be on one of the leading show on the web regarding football, and I was just happy to be able to bring my legal expertise to the show for you guys.
Well, Greg, we really appreciate the legal information that you gave us tonight because we were confused.
We were, and thanks for going down to D.C. on such short notice.
All right, guys, take care.
It's great to have a legal correspondent, but that was a lot of money to send them down there.
Pretty much wiped out our budget.
But despite that, let's make a promise to our fans right now that we will keep them in tune with what's going on with the NFL lockout.
Yeah.
Because it's very important. You cannot pay attention, and with the draft going on, people won't realize that there might be a real possibility that there's no NFL football come September.
So make sure
it's happened in every other. What was it? Hockey wasn't. There was a whole year.
Yeah, they missed the whole season. So make sure to subscribe to Mole and Mears. Click that button right up there. And you can follow us for real-time updates. Well, sort of real-time. When it happens, we'll let you know about it. But that's as good as we can get.
And we will see you next time, and keep your fingers crossed for no lockout.